Answer honestly. If someone you loved gave you one rule, just one, and breaking it could destroy everything, would you break it out of curiosity or respect their wishes? Keep your answer in mind. Some secrets are meant to stay buried, not because they're dangerous, but because knowing them changes everything. This is Omah's story, and by the time you finish listening, you'll understand why she burned her childhood home to the ground. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's start at the beginning. Omah's grandmother raised her, not because she wanted to, because she had to. Omah's mother left when Omah was 3, just walked out one morning and never came back. No note, no goodbye, just gone. Her father tried for 6 months, then he left too. Different reason, same result. Omah became her grandmother's burden. The old woman never said it out loud, but Omah felt it. In the sighs, in the long silences, in the way her grandmother looked at her sometimes, like Omah was a reminder of something painful that refused to fade. But here's what you need to understand about Omah's grandmother. She believed in duty more than love. She fed Omah, clothed her, kept her alive. But she never hugged her when she cried, never praised her when she did well. She simply existed beside Omah, solid and silent, like a wall. The house they lived in sat at the edge of the village, old, creaking, the kind of place that held on to ghosts. Behind the house was a yard nobody used, wild grass, broken bottles, a rusted gate. And in the far corner, beneath a mango tree that never gave fruit, there was a spot where the ground looked different. Sunken, like something had been buried there long ago. Omah asked about it once when she was 10. "What's buried back there, Grandma?" The old woman stopped what she was doing, turned to look at Omah with eyes that suddenly seemed ancient. "Nothing that concerns you," she said. Then softer, almost like a warning. "Some things are better left alone, child." Omah never asked again, but she never forgot either. That spot haunted her. Every time she played in the yard, her eyes would drift to that sunken earth beneath the mango tree. What could be buried there? Why did her grandmother's voice shake when she warned her away? Years passed. Omah grew, left the village for university, got a job in the city, started building a life that felt nothing like the one she came from. She called her grandmother once a month, sent money when she could, visited twice a year. Their conversations were short, practical, cold. Then one morning, everything changed. Omah got the call. Her grandmother had died in her sleep. Peaceful, they said. No pain, just old age finally winning. Omah felt something when she heard the news, but she couldn't name it. Not grief exactly. More like the closing of a door she'd been waiting to shut. She went back for the burial. The house felt smaller, emptier. Her grandmother's things were still everywhere. Her chair, her cups, her smell in the walls. The village elders handled the arrangements. Omah just signed papers and nodded at condolences she didn't feel. But then, the night before the burial, Omah stayed alone in that house. And that's when she found it. The letter. It was in her grandmother's bedroom, on top of her Bible, in an envelope with Omah's name written in shaky handwriting. Omah's hands trembled as she opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. No greeting, no warmth. Just one instruction. Behind the house, under the mango tree, there is a box. I buried it there 40 years ago. Do not open it. Do not dig it up. Leave it buried. Burn this letter after you read it. The old woman didn't even sign it. She didn't need to. Omah read that letter 3 times. Then she sat in the dark, holding that paper, feeling something cold crawl up her spine. Her grandmother had never asked her for anything, not once, not ever. And now, from beyond death, she was asking for one thing. Leave it alone. Most people would have listened. Most people would have burned the letter, buried their grandmother, sold the house, moved on. But Omah wasn't most people, and curiosity, as you'll soon learn, is a poison that tastes like truth. 2 days after the burial, after everyone left, after the house fell silent, Omah stood under that mango tree. The sun was setting. The air smelled like rain. Her hands were shaking. She told herself she would just look. Just dig it up and see. She didn't have to open it. She could bury it again. That's what she told herself. But we both know that's not how curiosity works. She started digging. The ground was harder than she expected, packed tight, like it had been pressed down by decades of weight and secrets. 20 minutes later, her shovel hit something solid. Wood. She cleared the dirt away. It was a box. Small. Maybe the size of a shoebox, wrapped in old plastic bags yellowed with age. She pulled it out. It was lighter than she thought. Too light to hold anything dangerous. Too light to justify a deathbed warning. Omah carried it inside, set it on the kitchen table, stared at it under the flickering light. Her heart pounded. Her mouth went dry. Every instinct screamed at her to stop, to bury it again, to walk away. But she didn't. She cut through the plastic, opened the lid, and what she found inside didn't just break her heart. It shattered everything she thought she knew about her life. Letters, dozens of them, all addressed to Omah, all from her mother. Letters written over 20 years, birthday letters, Christmas letters, letters apologizing, letters begging, letters asking if Omah was okay, letters saying I love you, letters explaining why she left, all organized by year, tied with string. Every single one unopened, every single one kept from her. Omah's hands shook as she picked up the first letter. It was dated 3 months after her mother left. The handwriting was desperate, messy, broken. Her mother said she was sorry, that she had been sick, that Omah's father wouldn't let her get help, that she had to leave to survive. She said she would come back. She promised. She asked Omah's grandmother to tell Omah she loved her, but her grandmother never did. Never said a word. Omah opened another letter, then another, letter after letter, year after year. Her mother never stopped writing, never stopped asking about her. She sent photos, she sent money. She begged to see Omah, to call, to explain. But Omah's grandmother never gave her a single letter, never told Omah her mother tried, never mentioned that her mother wanted her back. And here's where it gets worse. In one letter, dated when Omah was 12, her mother wrote that she had gotten better, that she had a job, a place to live, that she was ready to take Omah back. She included a phone number, an address. She begged Omah's grandmother to bring Omah for just one visit, just to see if Omah remembered her. That letter had been opened. Omah could see the fold marks. Her grandmother had read it, then buried it with the others. But wait, there's more. At the bottom of the box, there was one letter different from the rest. This one was addressed to Omah's grandmother, not to Omah. Omah opened it. Her mother's handwriting was harder here, angrier. It was dated 15 years ago. She said she knew Omah's grandmother was keeping the letters, that she had hired someone to confirm Omah was alive. She said she understood why her grandmother hated her. But she begged, pleaded, for her grandmother to let Omah decide. To give Omah the letters when she turned 18. To let Omah choose whether she wanted her mother in her life. She said if her grandmother didn't, she would take legal action. That was the last letter. After that, silence. Omah searched the rest of the box with trembling hands. At the very bottom, beneath all the letters, there was something else. A newspaper clipping, an obituary. And when Omah read the name, the room started spinning. Her mother, dead. 7 years ago. Car accident. She was 41. The obituary mentioned no children, no family, just her name, her job, and the date she died alone. Let that sink in for a moment. While Omah was building her life in the city, going to university, starting her career, her mother was dead, had been dead for 7 years, and Omah never knew, never got to say goodbye, never got to say I forgive you, never got to say I love you too. Because her grandmother made sure she never knew. Omah sat at that kitchen table until the sun came up. She read every single letter. She stared at every photo. She looked at the woman her mother had become, the life she had tried to build, the love she had tried to send across 20 years of silence. And Omah realized something that didn't just break her, it destroyed her. Her mother never gave up. For 20 years she kept trying, kept writing, kept loving. And for 20 years, Omah's grandmother intercepted every attempt, buried every letter, killed every hope. Why? That's what Omah kept asking herself. Why would her grandmother do this? Was it protection? Was it revenge? Was it hate? Was it love twisted into something unrecognizable? Omah would never know. Her grandmother took that answer to the grave, along with Omah's chance to ever hear her mother's voice again. 3 days later, Omah burned the house down, not in a moment of rage, not as revenge. She simply couldn't stand the thought of that house still standing, of someone else living in a place that had held so much silence, so many lies, so much stolen time. She watched it burn from the road, the walls, the roof, the room where she grew up never knowing her mother wanted her, the yard where the box stayed buried for 40 years. The village elders asked her why. She told them it was an accident, a candle, old wood, bad luck. They didn't believe her, but they didn't push. Some lies are easier to accept than the truth. Omah kept the letters. All of them. She keeps them in a drawer she never opens, because reading them again means feeling it again. The weight of all those years. All those birthdays her mother remembered while Omah forgot her. All those apologies Omah never got to accept. All that love Omah never got to return. People ask Omah sometimes if she regrets opening the box. She tells them no. But those who know her well can see the lie in her eyes. Because knowing is worse than wondering. Wondering, Omah could have imagined her mother forgot about her, moved on, started over. She could have lived with that. But now she knows the truth. Her mother never forgot, never moved on. She spent 20 years reaching through letters that were buried like corpses. And Omah's grandmother, the woman who raised her, fed her, kept her alive, was also the woman who stole her mother from her. Twice. Here's what Omah learned and what she wants you to understand. Before you dig up the past, ask yourself these 5 questions. First, the need test. Do you actually need to know, or are you just curious? If it's only curiosity, it might not be worth the cost. Second, the ready test. Are you prepared to live with what you find? Some truths can't be unlearned. Third, the change test. Will knowing this change how you see people you love? Once trust breaks, it rarely heals the same. Fourth, the action test. Can you do anything with this information, or will it just hurt? Pain without purpose is just suffering. Fifth, the peace test. Will this bring you closure, or will it haunt you? Some doors close for a reason. Here's how to score it. If you answer yes to 4 out of 5, maybe it's worth knowing. 3 out of 5, think carefully. 2 or less, leave it buried. Omah answered yes to all 5 questions, and she still wishes she had left that box in the ground. Now go back to the question at the start. Has your answer changed? Would you open the box? Or would you respect the warning? Some secrets are meant to stay buried, not because the truth isn't real, but because some truths are so heavy they break the people who carry them. Omah learned that the hard way. She opened a box her grandmother warned her about, and what she found didn't set her free. It buried her alive in a grief she can never escape. If this story hit different, save it. Share it, because someone you know might be standing in front of their own buried box right now. And maybe, just maybe, Omah's story will be the warning that saves them from making the same mistake. Remember Omah. Remember the letters. Remember that sometimes the people who raise us also rob us. And remember that curiosity doesn't always lead to truth. Sometimes it just leads to pain you can never undo. This was Omah's story. Let it be her lesson too.